Black guy. Who are the Mary Jane girls? That's
Incorrect.
Rick James.
Sheila E.
Two members of the Revolution.
Sheila E. was. Who is it?
Correct answer is who are Wendy and Lisa?
Yep, you're exactly right. We'll be back on the West Coast in just a minute. Everybody else, have a good day. It's time for hour number 6. My name's John Clay Wolf by Cars the Radio for America's Best Car Buyer. GiveMeTheVin.com. Remember Gordon Boswell Flowers, and remember Incogni. If you want to get rid of your spam calls, go to jcwshow.com and hang tight on our YouTube channel because our video buy of the Utah thing is coming up right now at jcwshow.com. Is how you click through the YouTube channel. Thank you.
Welcome in, everybody. ESPN Radio 97.5 FM and 97.9 HD2. It is the Bullpen with myself, Brian McDonald, Cam Smith to my right, Johnny Belmer behind the glass. How you doing, gentlemen?
Terrific.
We had the week off last week for Valentine's Day. You guys have no. I'm the only married man of the group. That would be the same even if Sean was here, because I think Sean is a hashtag never marry. I think.
Is he a George Clooney?
Maybe. I think he's got that sort of game. But how'd you guys spend your Valentine's days? You take any ladies out? How'd it go for you guys? Uh-oh.
Yeah. No.
Oh,
not
for
at all.
2? 0 for 2?
I forgot it was Valentine's Day.
Oh, wow.
Until maybe 3, 4 in the afternoon.
You're just sitting there and it's like, oh. It's
Well,
Valentine's
because I
Day.
was here running the Texas A&M game, and then
nothing's more romantic than running the
yeah.
Texas A&M Aggies
and
basketball game.
on my way to like grab a drink to get on the highway, I heard one of the hosts say Valentine's Day, and I was like, oh yeah.
You spent your Valentine's here at the palatial studios of ESPN 97.5. Cam, how'd you spend your day?
Well,
if it's painful, you could just tell me shut up
no,
and we'll start talking about Hunter Brown.
It's not painful. I spent a little time with some friends at this spot called Bald Kitty, and then I transitioned to Midtown and met up with some lady.
Is that a bar, I hope?
It is a bar.
Okay,
It's a lounge.
Woo,
I know the name is confusing, but no, it's a cool little spot.
I don't know if these were friends you paid for, Cam. So
No,
I'm just double checking.
No. I went with the bros to this spot. No, then I just met up with some lady friends and we bounced around and then somehow ended up at after hours, and the next thing I know, it's the next morning and I'm shopping with them at TJ Maxx and Ross. So it was
Wait, that was the next day you shopped at TJ Ross and Max, or on Valentine's Day?
No, that was the next day. I might have gotten like 3 hours of sleep.
I think shopping at TJ Maxx and Ross with a woman that you're not with would be the most depressing way to spend Valentine's Day. But
well, there's multiple women. But...
Oh, look at the brag! Look at Cam Smith's game there.
Like I said, lady friends.
I respect
lady
it.
friends.
I respect it. All right. Again, this is the Bullpen, ESPN Radio 97.5 FM and 97.9 HD2. We'll be on until 2 o'clock today. Aggies basketball not cutting us off. They have a game tonight at 7 o'clock, Cam. Is that right?
That is correct.
You're running the game this week? Okay.
I am.
If you want to join in the conversation, give us a call or a text on the HRMP listener line, 713-780-3776. Or you can reach us on Twitter. I'm at Sack by BMAC. Johnny's at Third Coast Johnny, and Cam is at Clutch City Cam. So we'll talk about the Rockets and the KD files and the Texans coming up. But right now, let's spend at least one segment, probably two, on the Astros. And I first want to get into kind of the news of the Hunter Brown contract extension talks, or the fact that there really isn't one. So we'll hear a couple pieces of audio, and then we'll have some reaction. But look, Hunter Brown, like, just my own thought going into this, because I had completely stopped thinking about the Hunter Brown contract extension, because I thought for what the Astros would be willing to pay a guy, they'd already missed their boat, right? Like, for him to have the second half of 2024, where I think it was from May 5th on that not the Royals game, he got blown up. It was like May 5th, I think, in 2024, where he found his sinker and just was on a Cy Young tear the rest of the season, and then turning that into 2025 where he finished third for the Cy Young.
Yep.
I was like, okay, the Astros have missed their window. Like, if they're going to pay, because we know they're not going to go past a dollar figure that it would take to get a guy on the open market. So they kind of have to get the guy before he realizes he's worth that sort of money. And by turning in the last season and a half to Hunter Brown did, is like, they missed their window. But it's come up in conversations again. Johnny, let's first hear from Hunter Brown. He was talking with Chandler Rome of The Athletic and was asked the question, have the Astros approached him about a new contract?
Those conversations have obviously, come up between Scott and myself. And with all transparency, I love Houston. I love playing for this team. And just I haven't heard anything since I was a rookie. So my focus is to be the best I can be for this team this season, and that's what I'm focused on. But like I said, I love putting on that Astros uniform, and I got no visions of doing it anywhere else. So that's what I can give you guys. I haven't heard anything, and that's just kind of where I stand with that. So.
All right, Johnny, I'm going to ask you in a second to replay the first part of that. But in that clip, he says the Astros have not talked to him, Cam.
I'm not surprised.
So, maybe the Astros are kind of what who are we expensive? Like, who are we kidding? Like, we can offer you a contract that we like, but you're going to be offended by it. So why even bother?
But I feel like they do this a lot. I feel like it's very rare that they go into the start of a season negotiating contracts.
Yeah, I don't remember that, because they did get deals done with Jordan and Alex Bregman before the end of their arbitration. Obviously, Jose Altuve they extended twice now. But Jose Altuve, I think the last time at least was about this time in the calendar. I don't remember where Bregman, Jordan, and the first Altuve was November. It was right after the World Series in
I think so,
2017. Yeah. But I don't remember what part of the calendar Bregman and Jordan fell onto. So I'm not sure about that one. But Johnny, go ahead if you would. Please replay that first part, and I'll tell you when to stop it. Something kind of stuck in my crawl from what Hunter Brown said there.
Those conversations have obviously, come up between Scott and myself. And with all transparency, I love Houston. I love playing for this team. And just I haven't heard anything since I was a rookie.
Stop it there. Hasn't heard from the Astros since he was a rookie. That's the part that, Johnny, be close to the dump button. That's the part that really freaking annoys me. That we started this segment. The Astros have to operate in a window of, we're going to try to buy out the arbitration. We have to do it by X time, because if the guy is so good for such amount of time, he's going to get to a point where he prices himself outside of what we're willing to pay, right? So, I think it was smart to get Bregman when they did. It was smart to get Jordan when they did. How do you not talk to Hunter Brown after his rookie season in 2022? Now, I'm assuming that's what they're talking about, because he came up for 2 starts in 22 and then was on the playoff roster. Or they could be talking about 2023. So there is some variation in the timeline. But regardless if it's, they haven't talked to him since September or October of 2022, because, they had a playoff run. I would understand, you halt negotiations in a playoff run. Or if it's sometime in 2023. How do you not come to him in 2024? So he gets hot on May 5th. You get to the All-Star break, let's just say, 2 months later. How do you not go to Hunter Brown just to see where he's at, see where Scott Boras is at? Maybe he's reached the point, or maybe just Scott Boras being Scott Boras, and they pass on whatever you offer him. Maybe that happens. But how do you not at least talk to him to see where they're at and see if you can find a deal?
Yeah, all right, rookie year, I'm not upset. And his sophomore year, he wasn't that great. He had a 5 ERA. So,
right.
I'm not bothered that they didn't talk to him those first 2 years. But like you mentioned, at least when you see the second half that he's having in 24, at least come to the table. At least spark talks.
Yeah,
At least
like
open up
what's the
dialogue
worst that
and
could happen? They say
yeah.
no, and then at least you know, at
But
least you know what you're working with.
And at least he, in the back of his mind, is like, okay, they're reaching out to me. They want me here, even if they're not going to offer me a contract right now. At least we're getting like the things slowly like rolling. But
Right.
I don't. I guess they're. I know that they're past their Astros window of trying to sign the guy to the amount that they feel comfortable with and not overpaying. But at this point, it's like, who? If you don't re-sign him, who do you have?
Yeah, that's
I mean-
that, and we'll get into that
I
a little
don't-
bit. Hold your thoughts on that because we'll get to that a little bit later on. I just think, look, Dana Brown, I think, has some questions to answer as to how good of a job he's done as a GM, taking over from a team that won the World Series, and they've gone backwards ever since. Now, not all of that is on him because some really bad decisions were made in that offseason before they hired him. Like, he wasn't the guy to decide Jose Abreu. He wasn't the guy that re-signed Rafael Montero or re-signed Michael Brantley thinking he was going to be ready at the beginning of the season, and then, oh, wait, he wasn't ready till, like, August. Like, none of that was on Dana Brown. So not all of it's his fault, but still under his watch, the team has gone backwards year after year after year. So, like, the question of – plus he also gave us the promise of we're going to do what we did in what I did in Atlanta. We're going to re-sign guys early. That was his big promise. The only guy that he's actually done that with is Christian Javier.
Yeah.
Which at the time I liked that deal. Obviously hasn't worked out, Tommy John. I don't put that on Dana Brown, but – like, if your big promise, like, we're going to re-sign guys, we're going to extend guys early, how do you not talk to Hunter Brown since his rookie season?
Yeah, and, like, I'm not going to put it all on Dana. I mean, I think a lot of it goes to him, too. But at the same time, it's what is – I feel like a lot of it has to be put on Crane because when Dana was in Atlanta, they were throwing money around and they were re-signing all these young guys to, like, big contracts. So they were spending money in Atlanta with Dana, and then he comes here and they're not spending money. So it's like, how much is it Dana and how much of it is Crane penny pinching?
Yeah, see, I take a little bit of an issue with that. I get your overall thought of what you're saying, but I like they are penny pinching in compared to like the Dodgers and the Mets. I mean, but
yeah,
like I can't hold them to the Dodgers and Mets
no.
level. Like, I mean, and he's been above the competitive balance tax for the last couple of years. He's top half in payroll, so I can't say he's being cheap. I can't go as far to say he's penny pinching. Do I think he could have spent more? Yes, I do. I think when you're a franchise that for like 8 years was basically maxing out your home games every single year because of those deep playoff runs, you can afford to maybe instead of being like 8th in payroll, maybe you're 5th in payroll. You know, whatever that number happens to be. So I think he could have spent more. I don't hold him accountable to spend as much as the Mets or the Dodgers. But I hear what you're saying overall. Johnny, let's play one more piece of audio, and then we'll use this as a tease going into the next segment, Cam. So don't answer right now. But I heard this take on Wednesday when I was listening to John and Lance driving around in the morning, and they were talking about kind of I think where you were going there for a second, Cam, and we'll carry that over into the next segment of like, what if they don't sign him? Like, who's left? What type of team is this? And I think we're going down the trail of like, are we becoming the Royals? Like, we're just going to be some other team's farm system? And this comment from Lance caught my ear talking about what the fan reaction would be if the Astros don't re-sign Hunter Brown.
Will they even
the Dodgers or the Astros?
Will they even throw their hat?
No, they will sign him.
Oh, okay.
They're going to be. He is going to be the first player that they give market money to because you really cannot afford. If you're Jim Crane, you let him walk. Like, you have to win at such a high level for the fans not completely to start. The fans are already starting to get antsy, and when this team is consistently not a playoff team, and you're letting Hunter Brown walk next, the city's going to turn on Jim Crane. There's no question about that. They want a chance to believe that they've been okay with all these things happening, and you wouldn't want to give him this contract. Well, you wouldn't want to give him this contract or this contract, but it's all fine and good. Everything's fine and good until you stop winning.
So is that true? And we'll carry this over again to the next break. If you have your own thoughts, please call us or text the HRMP listener line 713-780-3776 or hit us up on Twitter. I'm at SatBackBMac. Cam is at Clutch City Cam, and Johnny's at Third Coast Johnny. Will you, as an Astros fan, lose faith in Jim Crane if he does not find a way to extend Hunter Brown? That when the bullpen returns, ESPN Radio 97.5.
This is the Bullpen.
On ESPN 97.5 and the ESPN Houston app.
Live from the Huntington Bank Studios, here are the producers of ESPN 97.5.
All right, welcome back into the Bullpen. Brian McDonald, Cam Smith, and John Belmer with you here until 2 o'clock. Aggies basketball can be heard on the station tonight at 7 o'clock. If you want to join the show, weigh in on what we're talking about with Hunter Brown or the conversations to follow on the Rockets or the Texans, hit us up on the HMP listen line. Call or text 713-780-3776. So before we get back into Hunter Brown, I'd like to go ahead and just reset what we're going to talk about here. So, Johnny, if you can, let's go ahead and hear Lance again from John and Lance on Wednesday talking about what the fan reaction would be if Hunter Brown were not to be extended.
Will they even
The
put
Dodgers
no,
or the Astros?
will they even throw their hat?
No, they will sign him.
Oh, okay.
They're going to be. He is going to be the first player that they give market money to because you really cannot afford. If you're Jim Craney, you let him walk. Like, you have to win at such a high level for the fans not completely to start. The fans are already starting to get antsy, and when this team is consistently not a playoff team, and you're letting Hunter Brown walk next, the city's going to turn on Jim Crane. There's no question about that. They want a chance to believe that they've been okay with all these things happening, and you wouldn't want to give him this contract. Well, you wouldn't want to give him this contract or this contract, but it's all fine and good. Everything's fine and good until you stop winning.
All right, so let's attack that from 2 points. Thank you for acting out the attack there, Ken. That was what sort of weapon were you using in that attack? Was that a shiv?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. You got. I mean, you do have the prison mic tack too, right?
Yeah, it's one of the shivs I confiscated from my students.
Dangerous minds at Cam school.
They're very creative.
They're very creative with their shiv making.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cam students. But Lance had two takes in that piece of audio we just heard. One, he believes the Astros will re-sign Hunter Brown. Now, obviously, you can't know exactly what Hunter Brown will ask for, but his agent is Scott Boras, so I would say not a hometown discount, not a team-friendly deal, and he's from Detroit anyway, so not hometown. But if you're looking at like the biggest contracts in baseball, just to see kind of a ballpark, see what I did there, of what Hunter Brown could ask for. Right now, the highest annual values for starting pitchers in Major League Baseball. Zach Wheeler, though it was just a 3-year deal, is at $42 million. Fromber also a 3-year deal at $38. DeGrom's getting $37 per year. Then Garrett Cole and Blake Snell are both getting $36 per year. If you're looking at overall, Yamamoto of the Dodgers and Garrett Cole both have total values over $300 million. Then that goes down to third place, all the way down to $218 for Max Fried. Then Corbin Burns and Dylan Cease are both at $210 million for their total contract. So I think he's not going to get $300 million like Garrett Cole or Yamamoto. I think we're comfortable saying that. But I could see him trying to get just north of Fried, let's call it 220, over however many years they decide to make that deal. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if they asked for that. Maybe they have to settle for something less. I don't know. Let's just call it like the lower end of those top 5 AAVs I said was 36. Let's just call it 35 per year over 5 years. So that would be what, 180 million over 5?
Yeah.
Let's just say Scott Boras, Hunter Brown come to the Astros and say 5 years, 180 million. Do you expect the Astros to do that?
Absolutely.
Now, are you saying that with hopeful optimism, or do you really believe Jim Crane signs that deal and keeps Hunter Brown in the Astros uniform?
If it's between 180 and $200 million, I think they're going to do it. I mean,
okay.
Simply for the fact that you basically have to.
I feel like that's the minimum. So I'm with you too. Like I think if Scott Boras came to you and said 5 years, 180 million, 35 per year, I think I'm doing that math. No, it'd be 175 million. That's my fault. 5 years. Did I do that math right? Now I'm questioning myself. 5 years. Yeah, it's 175, right?
It's close. Yeah, it's
whatever.
around there.
Yeah.
Yes.
What you know? What
Next time we'll do the math ahead of time.
You know what? Guess what? We have them on our phones, guys. We have a calculator app. We can figure this bleep out. It is 175. Boom, solved. Look at that. Thank you, modern technology. Okay, so I think 5 years, 175 is the absolute floor. There's no way I think he takes a deal under 5 years, considering his age. It's not like Fromber where he's already like 32, 33, and has to take a shorter deal. And I think you're 35 per year, putting him just below Snell is probably his floor on the annual. So 5 years, 175 is the floor. I could see him pushing for 6, 7 years and then getting above 200 million. You're confident if it's that 175 the Astros do it. What if it gets over 200 million and starts to add in a 6th or 7th year?
I mean, I'm still confident, but not as confident. But
I'm interested. I'm interested to hear where your optimism comes from, given the Astros' track record. Because other than the Jordan deal was extremely team friendly, the Bregman deal was extremely team friendly. But they let Dallas Keuchel walk. They let Garrett Cole walk. They let George Springer, Carlos Correa, Alex Bregman the second time. They've let everyone else walk outside of 2 extremely team-friendly deals for Bregman the first time and Jordan. Plus, we have to keep Jose Altuve or people will come at us with pitchforks and torches. Outside of Jose Altuve, and really he gave him a team-friendly deal the second time around. Who have they ever agreed to pay?
No, you're right, and that is kind of the scary factor. But I think that also plays into why I think that they will re-sign him, because we've seen all these great pitchers and players from the Astros leave, and now you're getting to a point where you're not in rebuilding mode, but you're getting close to that point, and so you need a bona fide, solidified starter. And Hunter Brown's what, 20, 25?
I think
26.
I think he's a little older than that, but yeah, he's definitely in his 20s still.
But
we can find out while you're talking.
He's basically given you a year and a half straight of Cy Young quality pitching.
Yeah,
and so I think that plays a part into it. I think that the fact that you have nobody, because you just lost Fromber.
27, by the way.
27?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, he's still in the prime of his career. He's never had a super, major injury. Like I said, he's the last year and a half, he's given you Cy-worthy pitching. For me, it's if they don't re-sign him, then that is to me, them basically saying, all right, we're
waving the white flag?
Yes.
Johnny, obviously, you're wearing an Astros hat right now. You might be the biggest Astros fan of the show. Where is your optimism with the Astros finding a way to keep Hunter Brown here long term?
I mean, I think it would be in their best interest to look at him and say that your opportunity to sign your ace pitcher going forward is right there in front of you, even if you're going to pay for it. Because I think Cam's right. I mean, what do you have behind Hunter Brown to give you the confidence? Because if you look at Springer, there were people that you could say, okay, confidently somebody's going to come up.
Yeah,
Carlos
Tucker.
Correa, Pena, you went in free agency to replace at Bregman this last year and brought in Paredes. Every you've had an answer every time. I don't know what the answer is because you don't know what Imai is going to bring yet. Christian Javier is coming off a big injury. I know he has a high upside, but can you really look at that staff and have confidence? I think you need an anchor like Hunter Brown, and if this is the time to spend that money, I think he's the player to do it for.
Yeah, and if this was a bad team, I would get not re-signing him.
Yeah, they finished the game out of the playoffs. Well, they lost on tiebreaker to finish one game out.
This is still even with their bats, this is still a good team. So you're still it's almost, it's not, I don't want to compare it to purgatory or kind of like the Pittsburgh Steelers where you're always really good. So you never have that high draft pick to get a quarterback.
Well, I guess they kind of finished the MLB equivalent of 10-7 last year.
True. I think they
kind of did.
That's a good point. But
they win 86 games last year?
87.
87?
I think
Okay.
87. So it's just if they were a 70-win team, sure, I get it. Why spend $200 million on this guy when you're probably going to be bad for a couple more years? But they're not at that point. They're still at that level where one or two more good signings, and they could be right back in the playoffs making a deep run.
So
I mean, you don't even need the signings, in my opinion. Last year, if you just don't have the injuries, you're probably a playoff team. We're not having the same conversations right now.
I don't know how. You're right. If Jordan plays more, what did he play? 40-something games last year? It definitely wasn't north of 50. If Jordan plays, let's just call it 120. Give the big man 42 PTO days. If he just plays 120 games, the Astros make up that half game that they were behind and make the playoffs. So while I agree with that logic, but it's Jordan. Like he's going to be injury prone. Like
Yeah.
I hear it and I share the same hope. I'm crossing my fingers on Jordan as well, but like I was like, I'm not betting.
Do you
on
get a
Jordan.
big boost from maybe a better year from Christian Walker? Maybe he returns to some form?
See, his second half was really good, but I also have to remember, because I was someone who was fooled by it. Admittedly, I'll raise my hand on it. I was fooled by the really, really good second half that Jose Abreu had in 2023.
Yeah.
Look up Jose Abreu from when he came back from the 10-day IL stint in August through the playoffs. Dude was amazing. And then it completely fell off the next season in 2024. So while I am hopeful that Christian Walker's slow start last year was only because he was dealing with that oblique injury that he suffered in spring training, and that was the reason he had the slow start. And I think there's a good reason to believe that. I also can't forget, like, we just did this song and dance a couple years prior with Jose Abreu. It's like, oh, Jose Abreu, August through the playoffs. He was so good in that series against the Minnesota Twins. Like, he's back. And then 2024 happened. He was the worst player in baseball. Was on pace to break the negative WAR record and got cut and sent back to Miami, but like late May. Like, I mean, it was so, I don't know. But to answer Johnny's question, I think, Cam, you brought up the same point. Like, I think they'll sign him because what other choice they have? They have nothing behind them. I think the Astros have some arrogance that they can kind of put, not anybody, but they could take a lot of project, quote unquote, starting pitchers and turn them into really good pitchers.
Well, yeah, I mean, because
they have the track record of it. So I think the arrogance of that, to answer your question, is why they might say, we don't have to pay Hunter Brown $200+ million because we can take Jason Alexander and turn him into a guy I hadn't heard of, at the start of last season, and turn him into a really good pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, they do have a track record, but I feel like that track record lived up to it because they also had a better, like, supporting cast around them. And now
the supporting cast is less.
Just looking at starting pitching, I mean, no, I mean, there's no more Garrett.
Cam Smith's breakdown of the Astros starting pitching rotation. No.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's no more Garrett Cole. There's no more Verlander in his prime with the Astros. There's no more Keuchel. There's no Lance McCullers. His first couple good years. Like, there's no more of like that 3 deep starting pitchers. So your back end 2 can be projects. Like, they don't have that luxury anymore.
You remember when the Astros were so deep they could throw like Charlie Morton into the bullpen?
They could throw Brad Peacock out there, and they would be okay.
In the bullpen, it's like, we don't even need him. Put him in the bullpen.
Yeah, they don't have that luxury anymore.
All right, so we have a question in from the text line. We'll go to break after we answer this. From 8446, he asked, would you guys rather sign long-term Pena or Brown? Will the Stros be able to sign both realistically? Your thoughts on that, Cam? If you're forced, I guess first, do you think they could resign both? And if not, who are you picking?
Man, that is a good one. I mean, if we're talking right now, I had to give a contract to Pena or Brown, I would give it to Brown. Because that's how much in need of a starting pitcher they have.
I think I go with Pena.
I'm with you.
And I say that even though I believe, especially since Jeremy Pena's really only done it the one season, we're talking regular seasons, because obviously ALCS and World Series MVP. He's only done it the one regular season. But I just, I can't go to the point where I'm paying a pitcher over a position player. Just because, like, we've seen in baseball now with the injuries and how often guys break down. It's not even so much the talent. Like even admitting that Hunter Brown is a better baseball player than Jeremy Pena, which I do believe. But even if it were equal, like it doesn't almost really matter to me. I just my team building strategy is just almost never pay the starting pitcher long term.
Yeah, that's fair
enough.
So
I would rather pay the shortstop.
I think also what goes into me is just there's an influx of infield.
What do you mean?
Like if
he's talking about on the team right now, but there's only one shortstop. You're right. They have like an extra first baseman, extra third baseman.
Well, yeah, but so say you're picking Hunter Brown over Pena. Pena's gone. Correa goes back to shortstop.
He doesn't want to play shortstop, though.
Well, too bad.
Yeah, I mean.
but I mean, the part of why he was happy to come back was because he could play third. Because he openly said this after the trade, like he felt like his body wasn't able to handle playing short on an everyday basis. Like,
I guess I gotta respect his wishes.
yeah, like I get the natural inclination. It's like, well, he played short for like 7 years. Like, just put him back at short. But like we saw, A-Rod move to like his Correa's 6'4". Like he's a big
He's
dude.
a big guy.
Like we saw A-Rod move from short to third and towards the end of his career. I believe Cal Ripken did the same, who was also a big shortstop. Like I don't we see that with catchers like Joe Mauer moving from catcher to first base. They eventually moved obviously Biggio out from behind the catcher. Like
Catcher to second to outfield.
yeah, he had to go out and God, that was a weird time. Both him and Lance Berkman were in center field.
Yep.
For a while, going up Taos Hill before
They wanted
plowed
Jeff
that
Kent
thing
that
over.
bad.
Yeah, they did. Well, I don't blame him. Jeff Kent was really good, but like, I actually lost my train of thought there. But anyway, yeah, I don't know if they can put Correa full time in short. That's where we were talking.
Yeah, and
about.
that's fine. It's just also I feel like it would just be easier not to replace Pena with the same caliber player, but I feel like it would be easier to replace him with a suitable shortstop rather than try and replace Hunter Brown with another ace.
You just said earlier too, and I think this kind of goes to the point that the Astros have a track record of specifically taking pitchers.
That's kind of where I would disagree with Cam. I was like, I think they would actually. We saw that. I mean, how many France, Jason Alexander. I mean, I mentioned Wade Miley. Like, I mean,
Aaron Getty.
Aaron Getty. Charlie Morton was a career jobber until he got to the Astros. Now, Garrett Cole was still a good pitcher of the Pirates. Like, I think he had a top 5 Cy Young finish, had a season where he was under a 3 ERA. But the year before he came here, his ERA was over 40, and then they turned him into they obviously elevated, like Verlander's career kind of been floundering a little bit, and then he wins 2 Cy Youngs.
Yeah, but what's the biggest difference? The pitching coach for all those guys is no longer with Houston.
No, that's not completely true. Like the guy that helped Jason Alexander's still here. The guy that they brought over Yusei Kikuchi, who was just a jobber, and he was like a sub 3 ERA for that half a season he was here.
That's what I'm saying. There's still little evidence of the track record.
Like if the question is, well, to answer, would you rather sign Hunter Brown or Jeremy Pena? If the answer to that question is how easy, like who's easier to replace, I think it's the pitcher because of their track record of turning, career journeymen into studs.
Turning him to studs, I just don't think they can. That's a difference though between stud and then Cy Young caliber Hunter Brown. Like
sure, there are levels.
Yeah.
I'll go with you there. But like I don't know. I guess this. I don't think there's a wrong answer there. I think the wrong answer is not resigning either of them. Which,
that's definitely the wrong answer.
Can we eliminate that from possibility? Because the Astros kind of have that track record. All right, we got to move on. We're a little bit over. Let's get into the Texans when we get back on the other side of the break. These, I don't want to call them rumors because there's no sourcing behind them. They're more just like theoretical ideas. But these ideas being floated around the NFL right now of trading C.J. Stroud won't seemingly go away. Let's talk about that on the other side of the break. Bullpen returns in 3 minutes on ESPN Radio 97.5.
This is the Bullpen.
On ESPN 97.5 and the ESPN Houston app.
Live from the Huntington Bank Studios, here are the producers of ESPN 97.5.
All right, welcome back into the Bullpen, ESPN Radio 97.5 FM and 97.9 HD2. I sometimes still have to stop myself from saying the old second station. I don't know if you could tell there. When I hold on to that 97.5 FM, that's me mentally remembering not to say the other
We still
station.
have the 97.9, right?
Yeah, 97.9
So just replace it with that.
I did. That's in the Google Doc. You know, I try to make sure I'm looking at it and to refresh in my head, but there's still a moment where I have to hold on to that 5 to keep myself from saying wrong station.
What about what's on your hat? Can you just say ESPN Houston?
I can't see the logo, Johnny.
Well, you can see, what's on your hat. ESPN
yeah,
Houston.
But you're not actively thinking, I'm wearing a 97.5 hat. I'm wearing a 97.5 hat. Like, are you constantly in your head thinking, I'm wearing an Astros hat?
I know, but I know what hat I put on when I put it on.
Let's not get lost in the weeds here. But I was right. For those keeping track at home, Brian was right, Johnny was wrong. So as long as we all make sure we have that. But all right, so I mentioned before the break that the idea of trading Stroud isn't going away. And again, these are not, there's no sources here. These aren't even really rumors. It's just like, hey, what if they did this? So former Texans quarterback for half the league, Ryan Fitzpatrick, brought it up a few weeks ago. In the clip we're about to hear, he brings it up again. But it's not just him. Like, and we don't have time to play both clips, but Todd McShay, the draft expert, also brought up the idea of trading Stroud. And there's a second clip, I believe from CBS Sports, where Willie Colon brings it up, although I hate what he was talking about getting in return. But let's I guess play the original source of this theory. Ryan Fitzpatrick on his podcast with Andrew Woodward still talking about how he thinks it's possible the Texans will trade C.J. Stroud.
If you look at Seattle, they've had a ton of talent on defense, but they haven't been afraid to continue to draft guys and put them in good positions on that defense and sign guys on that defense. And then last offseason, they signed Sam Darnold, and he's making $33 million a year. So right now you're sitting on that C.J. Stroud contract going, okay.
And they traded away Geno Smith.
Traded away DK Metcalf, right? I mean, I sit there and watch Houston play this year, and I'm thinking, okay, what's going to be better next year? Or maybe this happens in 2 years. Is it going to be better? Because you can't tell me that there aren't teams that are out there that would trade 2 first-round picks and some more things for C.J. Stroud. You're telling me the Arizona Cardinals wouldn't be interested in that, or the Jets, or the Dolphins, or the Steelers, or the Browns, or whoever it is. I just think if you're Nick Caserio right now with Houston, it's like, all right, so I can have Davis Mills at $7 million and a bunch more draft capital, or I could have no additional draft capital and C.J. Stroud at $60+ million. I at least think there has to be a conversation about it, and I think he has to be thinking about that, watching Seattle do what they did and for their defense to really take them as far as they did and dominate in that Super Bowl.
All right, so there you have it. Ryan Fitzpatrick on his podcast with Andrew Whitworth talking about the idea of comparing the way Seattle went about their offseason last year, trading away Geno Smith, signing Sam Darnold for $33 million, which, you know, that's 20-ish million below like the glut of guys at the top. You have that group of like Tua and Trevor Lawrence and some other people, Kyler Murray in that like 55 range. So a significant chunk below that top group. So Ryan Fitzpatrick comparing what Seattle did and how it allowed them to build the rest of the roster to something the Texans could do. And it's just going forward with Davis Mills for a season, getting a bunch of draft capital and building around him instead of potentially paying. He says C.J. Stroud $60 million. I think that ship is at least temporarily sailed. If they were going to get a contract this year, it might be in that 55 range. Where I know none of us like that number. I'm just saying, like Trevor Lawrence, Tua, all those guys are getting 55. They're going to ask for 55 for C.J. Stroud. But what if you could get past that number? Don't worry, they're not doing it tomorrow, Cam. You got okay. Well, get past that for now. What do you think? What do you make of what Ryan Fitzpatrick says as far as comparing that the way Seattle built their roster, going with the lower priced veteran quarterback to then afford to build around him versus what the Texans might do, or if they want to, and what the Texans would have to do if they were to keep C.J. Stroud and pay him top of the market?
I mean, I like what Seattle did, but I think that's still a little bit of a different situation because they brought over Sam Darnold, who who had an amazing year with Minnesota, and honestly, Minnesota messed up by getting rid of
got
Sam
their
Darnold.
GM fired.
And like Davis Mills has been
And they got rid of Daniel Jones too. That's what I mean. God.
Yeah, and
Minnesota.
Look, I mean, Davis Mills has been serviceable, I guess, when he's had to play, but he's not Sam Darnold. So if you go in next season with Davis Mills, I don't think the expectation is playoff run.
No, I don't either. Like Davis Mills was admirable in his 3-0 stretch this season. But like I mean, you look at quarterback rating, completion percentage, a lot of these numbers, like CJ Stroud's clearly still the better quarterback. We can't be held prisoner of the moment just because he went 3-0 during his stretch and beat the Bills on that Thursday Night Football. But I do think that I don't think the answer is, hey, just go with Davis Mills at $7 million, pocket the savings, and get a bunch of draft capital for CJ Stroud. But I would entertain the question of trading for a veteran quarterback and getting some draft capital back, a player capable of playing at a higher level than Davis Mills. So on that note, Johnny, let's go to the next clip and we'll kick it around this idea and honestly, like the different direction we might want to kind of take the root of this idea and to just do a different thing with it than what Willie Cologne's about to suggest. But Willie Cologne, I guess taking the hint of the CJ Stroud trade speculation, says Texans should trade him to who for their quarterback?
You need to figure out a way to get something for Kyler Murray.
Yeah, that team is the Houston Texans. Get rid of C.J. Stroud. It's a wrap. You have the number one defense in all of football. What lost you that game in New England? Let's keep it a buck. I felt they should have benched him come out of halftime.
I said the same
They had Davis Mills, who was winning them games in the regular season.
True.
And they said, no, we want to protect his ego. We want to make sure he's our leader. Damn that. You get Kyler Murray on the Houston Texans. If you can make that deal work, forget about it.
Okay, well, now I need to think. Pick up the fifth-year option on Stroud and just like a swap. Stroud for Kyler.
Doc, make it work, Doc.
I'm going to veto that immediately. I'm representing the Houston Texans.
Thank you to the guy there at the end for vetoing that for the Houston Texans delegation. How quickly can I say hell no to the idea? Like the very root of the idea, what we talked about before we play the clip of, hey, maybe you do what the Rams did, right? You take Jared Goff, you trade him for Matt, or what the Lions did. You trade away Matt Stafford for Goff, but you get a couple first back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that allows you to build that roster. I like kind of that idea, but Kyler ain't that guy.
Yeah, you're not going to get a first back with Kyler for trading CJ.
Well, I think you could.
You think you could?
I think you could.
Kyler and
I just don't want. I don't think my pushback on the idea is not that you couldn't get draft capital back along with Kyler, because I think the Cardinals are done with Kyler. So
yeah.
So I think they'd be willing to just get anything they can for him. But my pushback on it is I don't think Kyler's good enough to pay. Like, because Willie Cologne in the clip talks about how, well, if they had Kyler, then they can win that game against New England. I don't think so.
I mean,
I don't think Kyler necessarily throws 4 picks, but what has Kyler shown the last 3-4 seasons that gives you any confidence he could go win a road playoff game in the cold?
I mean, not much. One, he's been hurt, and two, basically his stats are almost outside. All right, I'll give it to him.
He's a better running quarterback.
He's a way better running quarterback.
Yeah.
But as far as like the passing stats, like the yards and the touchdowns and interceptions, they're almost identical to CJ. So it's like you're getting back what a better runner, but more injury prone,
shorter, faster, equally as scared in the pocket quarterback. Like part of Kyler Murray's problem, because I had him on my fantasy team for a while, so I watched more Cardinals games than I really wanted to.
Nice.
No, it wasn't nice. I didn't enjoy the experience. 2 stars. But part of what I noticed with Kyler Murray is similar to what we see from C.J. Stroud, to where he was getting hit so much that he drops his eyes and looks at the pass rush way too quickly instead of keeping his eyes open and looking downfield. So Kyler Murray, those first couple of seasons, very good quarterback. I still don't think he was elite, but he's a very good quarterback and better than I think C.J. Stroud was at his peak. But that Kyler Murray isn't here anymore. and he's older. He's been more beat up. I think he's had some bad habits put into him. Like, I don't think Kyler Murray coming to an offense that wants to be conservative would be a fit at all. Like, the idea that I would want to explore in the vein of what the Lions did, trading away Goff or trading away Matthew Stafford and getting Goff back plus 2 first-round picks. I don't know if they do it. They shouldn't do it. I think they'd be dumb to do it. But if the Bucs would trade you Baker Mayfield plus a couple of picks, I would give them C.J. Stroud.
I mean, yeah, I just don't think the books would ever.
Because Baker is also in that salary cap range where I don't know if he's making the exact same as Sam Darnold, but he's in that range of not being, the 55 and above group. So I think that would make a lot of sense. I don't know if there are any other veteran. If you have another idea, Cam, please send me with her or Johnny. But like, I'm trying to think of other veteran quarterbacks where you might be able to trade Stroud away for that quarterback plus a few picks. But
you don't want Tua.
No,
that's out of the
Tua's
question
broken.
for sure.
Tua's broken. I wouldn't want Tua. Like, I'm trying to think. We could go around the NFL and we pull up a standings page. See if
Aaron Rodgers comes back for a year.
Oh my God!
You only get one season. Yeah, I know you're kidding, but you'd only get one season out of it. Like, let's see. Let's go to the AFC. Like, the Patriots, no. Bills, no. Dolphins, no. Jets, no. Steelers, no. Ravens, no. I wonder if Bengals wouldn't trade Joe Burrow, would they? Now you'd have to send them.
You would have to.
Yes.
Flip
no,
it.
yeah. Don't hear. I wasn't saying that.
But
would you trade CJ? Okay, let's flip it. Instead of a quarterback plus 2 firsts for CJ Stroud, would you trade CJ Stroud and 2 firsts for Burrow?
Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
Johnny, you with that as well?
Yeah, I think I would do it.
Hell yeah.
Browns don't have anybody. Jags, Colts, Titans, no. Broncos, Chargers, Chiefs, Raiders. None of those guys are trading away a quarterback or have one that you could get. Eagles, no. Oh, here's an interesting one. Dak Prescott. Now, you probably have to send some capital along with C.J. Stroud. Like, you couldn't get the Goff Stafford swap. But would you trade C.J. Stroud and some non-first round picks to the Cowboys for Dak Prescott? I think you 100% went.
He's making a lot of money.
Now, I disagreed with what Willie Colon said earlier about, well, you win that Patriots game if you have Kyler Murray. I do agree. Like, I disagree with that. But if you were to put Dak Prescott into that game against New England, Texans win that game easily.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm on the fence with that one just because of how much money he makes.
Yeah, he is the highest paid AAV in the league.
Yeah, so
I mean, who's to say that David Mulligaz is not going to ask for $60 million for Stroud?
Well, I think that's what's going to happen.
So, like, even though we look at Dak as, oh my God, he's making so much money, like, in a couple years, I mean, if the Texans did resign Stroud, it's going to be banking about the same anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, Dak's been more consistent. I mean, he's
far more consistent,
more yards, more touchdowns. I mean, I wouldn't.
So
the more I think about it,
I think you got to join me on that one. Commanders and Giants, no. Obviously, Bears aren't trading Caleb. Packers aren't trading Love. No one wants J.J. McCarthy. Would you do it for Goff?
Ooh.
I don't think so.
I think you could get a pick back with Goff.
I don't think if you intercept somebody 5 times in a game, you should get them on your team.
The Lions still won that game.
Yeah, I know, but still, I don't think you should get that quarterback on your team.
Okay, the Lions call you, say, hey, Goff, a first and a second round pick for Stroud. I would that.
Immediately take it. Just don't see Detroit doing it.
Would you do it as straight up swap?
Yes.
Johnny?
No, because I'm out on Goff. Yeah, I feel like he would get here and immediately regress.
So Saints aren't trading Shuck. The Falcons don't have anybody you want. We already mentioned Baker. I would do that, but I don't think the Bucs would. Bryce Young, that'd be kind of funny, but no. Seahawks aren't trading Darnold. Same thing with Stafford, Bryce Purdy, and then we already mentioned Kyler Murray. So really, I think the conversations or the teams that you try to call.
To be honest, I would
to get this. There's like 3 teams that you call. You call the Bucs for Baker. I would call the Lions for Goff. I know Johnny wouldn't. And I'd call the Cowboys for Dak.
I would call the 49ers about Purdy.
I mean,
they're not moving off
all
Purdy.
Those injuries, and look what he has still been able.
But why? Okay, put yourself in the 49ers' shoes, though. They wouldn't do that deal. Like, Brock Purdy's already played well for them. Like, why would they take the risk of trying to fix C.J. Stroud?
I mean, it's the same thing for every team, though.
Yeah, but in the situation of, like, Dak or Goff or Baker, would give that team Like, I'm not saying I would do it if I were them, but at least it would give them a chance to get much younger at the quarterback position. So that would be the selling point.
True, but
Whereas,
because I guess Purdy
whereas
and,
with Brock Purdy, the selling point wouldn't be there.
yeah,
Although I think he's probably a little over Stroud, but not enough to make a difference.
I don't know. There's something about Purdy.
No, I'm with you.
I
I
like
like
his
Purdy.
heart,
I just don't think the 49ers would entertain that conversation.
Doesn't sound like there's a whole lot of options then.
No, it's really, to me, it's Goff, Baker, and Dak.
And Davis Mills.
All right, let's go out to the HRP listener line. If you also want to call in, don't put that evil on me. You can call in or text as well, 713-780-3776. Right now on the HRP listener line, Dave calling in to talk about C.J. Stroud. Dave, what do you got for us?
Hey, guys, kind of a fun conversation you're having, but I don't think anybody's going to give you a decent quarterback plus draft picks for C.J. Stroud unless he's better thought of than I realize. Let me ask you this. You guys are closer to the situation than people like me. What's Stroud's, does he do the things that you want your franchise quarterback to do? Has he got the reputation of being first guy in the facility in the morning, last guy out at night, putting in the time? I was reading a book about Belichick and Brady, and it talked about how much of a commitment Brady made to being really, really good. And I don't think it happens without that commitment, And is CJ locked in like that, the way he needs to be, in your opinion? And I think the Texans are going to sign him to I think all this stuff is academic, because I think they're going to sign him to an extension before next season starts.
Whoa.
That's my guess.
Well, thank you for the call, Dave. So, neither of us are in the locker room interviewing the players every day, but I talk to people that are.
Yeah.
And look, this is second, third-hand information, but from what I glean, this is not a David Carr situation where make sure he's at home by 4:30 to have dinner with the wife and kids. So yeah, what I've heard about Stroud, I haven't heard anything as far as to suggest that he's not a hard worker.
No, and
I think there's a lot of reasons that he is failing, but I don't think it's because this is not like a Jamarcus Russell situation where they're giving him a tape.
And it's a blank tape.
And it's a blank tape, and he lies saying you watched it. This is not a situation where Kyler Murray has to have a Call of Duty contract or blurb put into his contract. I think C.J. Stroud's working. I just think he's suffering from a lack of confidence, brought on by a couple of years of getting his head beat in with the bad offensive line.
Yeah, I was going to say almost the same thing. I mean, we don't hear anything about his work ethic being bad. We hear everything about him being like a really good teammate. Similar to what you were saying. I think it's like a confidence level, and I think he's just shown it's sometimes hard for him to get out of a rut, if that makes sense.
No, I'm 100% with you. It feels like he had a clip, I don't remember if it was this year or I think it might have been late last year, where he talked about, I want to make things fun because when I'm having fun, things get rolling. I feel like he's a vibes and a momentum.
It's like a snowball effect.
Yeah, like with a quarterback. Yeah. When things get rolling well, he just slices and dices teams.
Does it look like Nick Caley brings that type of vibe?
No.
Yeah,
no.
And I think that's part of the issue here is too.
But look, I'm with you. Like, the Texans have done C.J. Stroud wrong in terms of not giving him a great offensive line. Outside of one season, Joe Mixon, they haven't given him a good running game. They obviously tried at wide receiver, but unfortunately guys got hurt. And I don't think they've given him great offensive play callers. But if you're a quarterback worth $60 million, you'll still find a way to make that work. Not every quarterback's going to get to walk in to having Andy Reid as his coach, like Patrick Mahomes. A lot of great quarterbacks come in with bad offensive lines, look at Joe Burrow, with play callers that they disagree with, and different things like that. Like Tom Brady for years, he won 3 Super Bowls with barely a wide receiver you could
exactly
name. He was fun. The great quarterbacks are able to overcome that. I think C.J. Stroud's in the group of quarterbacks that you can win with, not win because. And that's kind of where I think the conversation is and why we don't want to pay him top of the market, because he's kind of younger Goff. You can win with Goff. He can help you. He can add to. He's not going to put the team on his back, though.
No. And, I mean, I agree with that 100%. I'm not going to label him as a game manager, but I feel exactly how
I think he's a cut above that, but he's not in that group that can carry a
Yeah,
team.
like you can win with him, but not because of him. And I mean, just look at it. Like this year, what is the biggest reason why they won? That defense.
Yeah,
it was because of the defense.
They carry both of the quarterbacks.
Yes. So what's going to happen if the defense cannot be top 5 next year? Like,
yeah, and that's the dangerous because people, and we'll get out to break. I promise here, Johnny. But that's the dangerous thing because people are like, hey, look what Seattle did, right? Look what Seattle did. Like Seattle gave us the lesson, 10 years ago. It's hard to keep a defense at that level compared to an offense, in my opinion. Because it's like I feel like if you get that elite quarterback, he can kind of elevate and carry the guys around him. He can make wide receivers look better by throwing really accurate passes to where only they can get it. He can make offensive line look better by getting rid of the ball quickly, right? Whereas the defense, you got to keep 11 guys together to have a defense, not just a good defense, but like a 2000 Ravens, like a Legion of Boom defense, that type of defense that wins a Super Bowl because of them and carries their offense. It's difficult to keep a defense that elite together just because of all the pieces that have to go into that.
Yeah, because look at all those teams with elite defenses. They won one championship. It's not like they were going back to back with those championships.
Yeah, definitely not. So I don't know if we came to an answer there, guys, but I guess the only answer we did come to is we don't want to pay C.J. Stroud top of the market.
The answer is if they really believe that he's not the guy they can win with, and because you got to move on from him.
100%. And I'm fearful that Dave, the caller that called in earlier, might be right that they do pay him this offseason.
I mean, I'm concerned too.
Afraid. If they do that, we might take the next week off. I'll just warn you guys. I don't know if I could come in and deal with that conversation. All right, we will get out this time as promised. We always deliver here on our promises here in the bullpen, kind of sometimes 10% of the time. When we get back, let's talk about the KD files in the second half of the Rockets season, man. KD and those burners. We got to talk about it next. Bullpen, ESPN Radio 97.5. All right, welcome into hour number 2 of the Bullpen here on ESPN Radio 97.5 and 97.9 HD2. Brian McDonald, Cam Smith to my right, Johnny Belmer behind the glass. Again, we're here till 2 o'clock. Mount Rushmore +1 coming up at 1:30. We haven't promoted that. And I believe we'll be back next week. I think I looked at the schedule to see that we were on for next week.
Yeah.
I guess you just look at the Aggies schedule. Like when the Aggies play at night, we're on. Cool. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we're back on next week. So we'll get into some fun sound clips from some people who had some crazy takes in the next segment as well, our leftover segment before Mount Rushmore +1 at 1:30. But we got to talk about this KD burner, or is it one? Is it a fake? Before we get into the conversation, I think Cam is secretly hoping it's fake. I don't. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to burst your bubble here in this segment Cam. But let's first hear from Nick Wright. Used to work in this market. His take on if the KD files are true.
If it's real, the talking on Şengün and his current team is catastrophic. This is so much bigger for KD than the previous burner account stuff.
Yeah.
Veteran presence, a leader, the final piece. Again, if this is real, it legitimately damages his team's chance of winning the championship, which is a shame.
All right, so
Thank you, Nick.
Before we move into the next clip, not surprisingly, because it's Nick Wright's job to be hyperbolic, I think he way oversells. Like, I think it's obviously damaging. Don't get me wrong, but the Rockets weren't winning a title this year. They're not going to beat the Thunder. I mean, like they were very clearly in that second tier of the West, to the point where, like, I don't think it's this. It's not what's going to. We're not going to look back here in 6 months and said that what kept the Rockets from winning a title was the KD tweets, like it was, or the text or whatever. Like it wasn't that. It's bad. I'm sure Alperen and Jabari and some of these other guys are mad at KD. It's not a good look from someone who's 37 and supposed to be a team leader, but it's not what's going to keep the Rockets from winning a title.
Not this year, but I still agree with Nick Wright's point that if it's true, it is catastrophic because one, this team is already having an issue finding its identity without Fran VanVleet. And then you bring in KD, who's supposed to be this veteran leader that's supposed to, at the time with Fred VanVleet, elevates you to a championship team. And now it's like your replacement leader for Fred VanVleet is talking trash about the very team that he expressed wanting to come to. So, like, it's not just ramifications for this season, but KD is on a 2-year deal, so he's supposed to be back next year. And if you have a healthy Fred VanVleet, then yeah, you're back on that track to chase for a title. But how is that going to work when one of your leaders in the locker room
is dropping R words
is talking trash about your key pieces that you're supposed to build around?
All right, so is it true? Well, Kevin Durant got asked that this week. I think this goes shout out to Kelly Eco. I don't know. This clip won't convey what happened at this media shoot around. So his media shoot around, or the media at the shoot around, that is, starts like it's just silence to the point where the media person's like, any questions for Kevin Durant? And finally, I think it was Kelly Eco goes, all right, what about the KD? what about the burner count? Like everyone was wanting someone else to be the person, because you have to ask them. But everyone else was wanting someone else to take that bullet. So let's hear KD's response to being asked that question about the alleged burner count.
I know you got to ask these questions, but I'm not here to get into Twitter nonsense. I'm here to come see and keep it pushing. But I know I get you happy. Give them what you like. My teammates know what it is. We've been locked in the whole season. Enjoyed our break. We had great practice today. Looking forward to the road trip.
All right. So you know what he didn't say in that? How long was that clip, Johnny? Was that like 20 seconds? 25? Okay, he's nodding his head. You know what he didn't say in that clip, Cam? It wasn't me. He never said the words. Was there a denial?
He also didn't say it was me.
That's true. But he never said it wasn't me. There was nowhere in that. So he knew this question was coming for what, about a week before he asked it? He had time to think about what he was going to say. And his response was not to say he didn't do it.
Maybe because he, in his heart, knows he didn't do it.
Are you ready to see a man do mental gymnastics right now, Johnny? Cam was trying to find a way that this wasn't KD. Like I can't reveal. I know this is kind of bush league because I can't tell you who told me this, but I received a text of a media member who has seen the like unedited. Keep that music going, Johnny. Has like seen the unedited group text that this came from, and he'd already seen these before they came out, so they weren't faked. Like it's Kevin Durant. It's. I feel awkward, and I'm not even in the locker room.
Yeah, like my anxiety just increased, and I don't even have to deal with these fools.
I get the idea that Kevin Durant's gonna. First off, kudos for him being respectful of the question being asked. Like he could have just tried to bury the reporter. That
could have been an
asked.
ass.
Yeah, he wasn't an ass about it. So kudos, tip of the cap to that. Like he handled that part he won't really handle the whole thing professional. But what he didn't do in the entire thing was say it wasn't me. Like I think that speaks volumes. Like
I do too. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're given a week to think about what you're gonna say. With all the ramifications that Nick Wright talked about, that we've talked about, you're talking about, hey, this could damage you into next season. He's got a week to think what he's going to say to defend himself to that, and he never said it wasn't me.
He got a whole week, but even your natural response, if it wasn't you, should have been, I didn't do that. That wasn't me.
That was me.
Like immediately.
It's AI. It's photoshopped. You could. There's 1,000 lines you could say, or truths depending on the situation. But I just think if it wasn't him, he would find like, especially since he followed up with like, I'm not here for that Twitter nonsense, bro. Go through Kevin Durant's timeline. How many times is he quote tweeting people who didn't at him? Like he lives for Twitter, not like the only thing in his life more important than basketball is Twitter nonsense. So you can't sell me on the idea of Kevin Durant saying, I'm not here for this Twitter nonsense. You constantly quote tweet people who didn't at you. You're searching your name. You can't sell me that you're not here for Twitter nonsense.
Oh, no, he very much is. And I've witnessed firsthand because I have a buddy who I've known for a while. We're in the same like fantasy basketball league, and he's big into basketball and on Twitter.
Nerd.
And thank you. I'm actually in first place. And he actually went on Twitter, I think.
I love that you worked that into a pat on the back.
You're right. It was either like last year or 2 years ago. Because he's a Lakers fan, but he follows the Warriors. But he mentioned KD in a quote on Twitter, and within like a day, KD had responded, and this tweet had gone like viral. And KD was coming at my boy, even though my boy wasn't like directly throwing an insult.
Did your boy Adam?
Yes.
Oh, he did Adam. Okay,
yeah,
well, that changes the equation a little bit. Like even though
but how many times do athletes get hashtagged or added and they don't
like,
respond?
Even if you at them, like the chances, like his notifications obviously have to be
through the roof.
Like the chances, like as he's scrolling, he sees yours is still pretty small. But the fact that he's constantly quote tweeting people who didn't even add him, so not only is he not seeing not only is he. It's not even just like the 1 out of 1,000 people that added you. Like you're going even beyond that to the people who didn't even add you. I just can't buy that KD isn't quote here for the Twitter nonsense.
I think he is. I have an idea.
Okay.
Why don't we see, since he responds to everybody?
Oh, should we all tweet
as
him?
a show? Yeah. Why don't we at KD and see what we can?
Do we want to do like one tweet that we kind of craft together, or do we want to send our individual tweets?
You want to bombard him or send one?
It's only 3 of us. That's not really.
Well, I mean, hey.
But maybe the tweet should be the same, just to see, Well, maybe I don't know if we could talk about or talk it out because we're up against.
I'm actually trying to see if I can get that tweet sent to me that my friend.
Oh yeah, please
interacted
do. Like
with him.
maybe we keep it simple. Like we just say, "Hey KD, was it you?" It's just to see if he responds. But again, don't add him. Just say, "Hey Kevin Durant, was it you?" The three of us can see that and see if he responds to it.
When the last time these burner accounts with him came out, obviously he was going to be asked the same question.
And he by the way, he admitted that was him.
Well, that's a good sign. At least he admitted it last time, and this time he's not admitting
saying anything.
Maybe he's changed.
I think he probably knows we all know, and it's not worth really.
I think he's not willing
You know?
to admit it this time because it's far more damaging. To your point earlier, like
so
he's-
much more.
Like he's directly crapping on teammates he's still playing with for this season and beyond.
And poor Jabari.
Like he
I mean,
dropped an R word on Jabari, man.
and they literally talked about how they were trying to like somewhat form Jabari into like the Kevin Durant
Not
Jr.,
anymore.
and it's just like,
Not anymore.
well,
You know, okay. I think you mentioned like this has ramifications into next year. You know how we find out if this was or wasn't true? What they do in the offseason?
oh,
Like
yeah.
if they move on for not that they, I think this is the lowest possible odds. But if they move on from Kevin Durant, that tells you it was him.
I mean,
if they trade Jabari Smith, I think that tells you this was real. Like there are a number of things. Now there could be basketball reasons to trade a Jabari Smith, but just look at what moves they make in the offseason. Like does it directly reflect someone that was in these tweets from the burner account, or does it not? Like if they make no moves involving Jabari or Alperen or any of the people mentioned in these burner tweets, then maybe it wasn't real. Or they're just grown enough men to have squashed the beef and moved on. But if they do make moves that all seem to correlate to the people we're talking about, then it was probably true.
It's the NBA. They're divas. They're not squashing this.
Maybe so. Yeah. Like certainly Kevin Durant at age 37
But-
still hasn't matured to the point of being beyond this. So
I
maybe
mean,
you're right.
my thing is I think there's always going to be talks around trading Jabari, so I don't want it to like directly correlate to the KD thing. But if it does come out that these are actually his tweets, can you even bring KD back next year, knowing that he
mean-
basically talked trash about your head coach?
Well, that's kind of what I was talking about. Like if Jabari gets moved. Now, again, like you said, and like I said previously, like there could be just a basketball reason you move Jabari. Like he doesn't rebound enough, although he had a nice streak recently, or you don't like whatever about his game. But like I could see like if this is real, they just remove the people that he was talking bleep about.
Yeah, but that's two of your youngest core players. Like,
Well, I don't think they would trade Jabari and Alperen. I think it'd just be Jabari.
yeah, and I would much rather trade Jabari
I
than
mean, I think
Alperen.
Ime's got to have a conversation, and Rafael Stone's got to have a conversation with that group of people behind closed doors. Like, can you guys squash this? You good? And if not, then you move one or two of them. But well, that's to me again. That's I think how Kevin Durant, Alperen, Jabari. They're never gonna stand in front of a microphone at shoot around and tell us what happened. We'll find out what happened, I think, by one, the Rockets' trades or lack of trades in the offseason, and two, when eventually one of these players is on a different team and they start to hit the podcast circuit, that's when we find out our answers.
Oof.
Like,
Gotta love a good podcast.
Hypothetically, Jabari Smith Jr. is on a different team in 5 years. He starts going on podcasts. He's talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, everything comes out in the NBA.
Exactly. That's when we'll find out. All right, we got some fun audio to get to next from Mad Dog Russo's from Cowling Cowherd and a potentially drunk reporter in Australia. We'll get to that and more when the bullpen returns. ESPN Radio 97.5.
This is the Bullpen.
On ESPN 97.5 and the ESPN Houston app.
Live from the Huntington Bank Studios, here are the producers of ESPN 97.5.
All right, welcome back into the Bullpen. ESPN Radio 97.5 and 97.9 HD2 with you here till 2 o'clock. Brian McDowell, Cam Smith, and John Belmer here with you. So our leftover segment, things that won't take a full segment, but we're going to have some fun with them. Because they are a bit ridiculous. I mean, you guys have all heard by now the story of the Major League Baseball Players Union head, Tony Clark, the former Major League Baseball player, getting the boot because he slept with his sister-in-law, who was also employed by the Players Union, right?
God, yeah.
Well, as you would expect, Mad Dog Russo, who talks a lot of baseball, hell, he's got a show on MLB Network, he was talking about this situation with Tony Clark and had a interesting perspective on the scandal.
That it was due to an inappropriate relationship with a sister-in-law who, is in her 50s. What's so inappropriate about that? I don't understand. I mean, this happens all the time, this stuff. I mean, why would that be considered inappropriate? It's his sister-in-law. All right, so it's his brother's wife. I mean, I guess it's inappropriate,
Well,
but
maybe
isn't that a family matter more so than it is a union matter?
Mad Dog Russo, I don't agree with you, but tip of the cap, sir. That is a hell of a
Nice
take.
try. Nice try.
That is a hell of a take.
What have you been up to, Mad Dog?
I think that's my first question. Is like, how many times has Mad Dog Russo slept with his sister-in-law?
Yeah.
Is that a problem? Well, I think the funniest thing, maybe he didn't know this yet. Although I don't know how he couldn't have, because I think it came out in like the very first report, but. For him to say, well, it's a union, it's a family problem, not a union problem. It's like, she works in the union.
They both do.
Yeah, they both do. So it is in fact a union problem as well. So yeah, that was
I like how he threw out the age and made it seem like she's in her 50s.
He
What does
said,
it matter?
This thing happens all the time.
Everybody sleeps with their sister-in-law.
I will say firmly, I don't know anyone that slept with their sister-in-law. I mean, maybe they have, and they just didn't tell me. And not that they were like, I don't know who would go brag. Hey, man, I slept with my sister-in-law. Like, no one would brag about that necessarily.
I can't, but
like,
I wouldn't.
I've never heard. I don't know anyone that's. But Mad Dog Russo's acting like everybody's sleeping with their sister-in-law.
Like, this is just a common. What is this, Game of Thrones? Just everybody's
Well,
sleeping with
I don't
everybody?
even have a sister-in-law, so
I'm good.
I am. Johnny doesn't. Hey, this show can guarantee we will never sleep with our sister-in-law because none of us have a sister-in-law.
Well, one day, hopefully, the
Does
goal.
Sean have a brother?
He does, but he's much younger. He's 10 years younger than Sean. So also, Sean, no sister-in-law. So there we go.
Yeah.
Congratulations, guys. We will never be Tony Clark.
We're a moral show.
We are a moral show. All right. Next bit of nonsense. Let's go to Colin Cowherd, who is he is a connoisseur of the fine art of hot takery. Had this. I don't even want to call it a hot take, but had this thought on Indiana football.
But I argued this. If you take Mendoza out, they do not beat Ohio State. They don't beat Miami. I don't know if they win at Autzen, and they were
Penn State. They lose to Penn State.
They lose to Penn State, and I don't know if they beat Iowa. I think they were tied with Iowa in the fourth.
Okay, yeah. If you remove the starting court, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, not even Heisman Trophy winner, just average starter. If you remove a better than average starter off of any college football team, they're going to lose more games. They're going to lose some games that they won close. Like, I don't understand. Like, I respect the hot take artistry that Colin Cowherd puts out there, even though I don't often agree with his opinions. But I don't even know what point he's trying to make. Yeah, you win less games if you don't have a Heisman winning quarterback. Duh. Yeah. I mean, what's the point he's trying to even make there?
I don't even know what he was trying to. Yeah, what is he even trying to argue?
Know. All right, let's move on to something a little more fun here. So this lady that we're about to hear had to give a news report after we think she'd had a few. This lady's from Australia. I'm bringing up the tweet to see if I can give you her name because I forgot what it. To quote The Rock, it doesn't matter what your name is. Oh, it's Danica Mason. So she's a popular Channel 9 sports reporter and rugby league host, apparently, and had to appear on morning television, but struggled to get her words out while covering the Winter Olympics in Italy. Let's give it a listen. Is she drunk?
Like literally, the price of coffee over here is actually fine. It's more the price of coffee in the US that we are going to have to get used to. I'm not sure about the iguanas. Where are we going with that one? But anyway, let's get into today's sport because there is plenty happening back home. We're going to start off with some actual Brisbane Broncos gearing from the actually their trip to the the UK rather, because Reece Walsh has stolen the show. He, of course, did that in the last year's Ashes series, crowning for 4 tries and claiming England's fans. But returned to the UK just 3 months following that UK club challenge.
The guy is drunk. Thank you, Kevin Harlan. I don't know. She started talking about the price of coffee in Italy. Then she talked about iguanas. And then she got into what I think her news report was supposed to be about, but I couldn't follow a coherent thought. It was just rambling. Like, it wasn't the worst slurring I've ever heard.
It was pretty bad, though, still.
But it was still bad, and, like, it just was not coherent whatsoever.
She was either drunk or having a stroke.
Okay.
One of the two.
Johnny votes she was drunk. Cam, you think she was drunk?
Even after the iguana comment, I was like, oh, it's Australia. They drink. There's iguanas, whatever. She's
Are there
fine.
iguanas in Australia?
I don't know.
I think that's a South American
But
thing.
then once I started to not understand any direction of where she was going, I realized, you know what? I've been here, drunk.
It was a familiar thing for you, huh?
But you've never had to give a report at the Winter Olympics in Italy while drunk.
Absolutely not.
No.
I never did that.
Has Irish Cam ever had to give a drunken news report? Like,
we can make that happen.
What would Irish Cam say about iguanas while reporting live from the Winter Olympics in Italy?
Irish Cam would have nothing to know about iguanas. Don't know what they are.
Doesn't know what they are. Well, that's. I'm sorry.
All we have is potatoes and sheep in Ireland.
Well, and famine.
Well, we used to have potatoes.
Yeah, you used to have potatoes. Shout out to the famine. Took out the potatoes. All right, so you guys hear that Floyd Mayweather's coming out of retirement?
He retired?
Wait, who's he fighting?
Oh, well, okay. So there's 2 answers to that. One, he's fighting Mike Tyson, but that's an exhibition. He's coming out. He's going to fight Mike Tyson this summer in an exhibition, and he's saying after that fight, he's going to return to for real professional boxing.
So your warm-up fight is against 75-year-old Mike Tyson.
He's in his 60s. Settle down.
Is he?
Yeah, don't age the man.
Okay, 60-year-old Mike Tyson.
But a guy who could barely stand up against Jake Paul's now going to go fight Floyd Mayweather. But it's not a real fight.
No, it's exhibition.
We know what these are. Like they're just going to dance around and throw half-speed punches at each other and get claps occasionally and collect their paycheck and move on.
I mean, it seems like that's how a lot of Floyd's last couple fights have been, a lot of dancing and stuff. So,
well, to that point, I don't know if you guys know the answer to this. I happen to. I remember watching this fight at a movie theater when it happened, but
10 o'clock.
Well, I mean, yeah, no, I can't watch it at 10 a.m.
You said movie theater.
You're right. You're right to assume that if I'm going to a movie theater, it's at 10 a.m. But the boxing promoters aren't putting fights on at 10 a.m. to cater to
you
to weirdos like me. Yes. No. Do you remember his last fight that counted towards his professional boxing record?
Was it Pacquiao?
No, it was after that. John, do you remember?
I do not.
It was Conor McGregor in 2017. Literally the day before Harvey hit. That was his last boxing match that counted against his record.
And I remember that was not a good fight either.
No, he dominated McGregor. McGregor, I mean, as you would expect, McGregor had a decent stand-up game for a UFC guy, but that's levels behind one of the greatest skilled boxers of all time.
And now he's an actor.
And right. But yeah, so he hasn't had a real professional. Now he's done lots of exhibitions. He had an exhibition against Logan Paul, Jake Paul's brother. But he hasn't had a real professional fight since 2017.
But it doesn't make sense. If you can make money off these exhibitions, why are you even thinking about putting your record up to risk losing the perfect record again?
Because Mayweather, even when he was, for the most part, I'm not saying never, but Mayweather, even when he was fighting for real with matches that went against his record, he was very protected, right? He fought De La Hoya, but he fought him at the end. He fought Canelo, but he fought Canelo when Canelo was super young and not ready for it. Although I still think he beat Canelo in both of their primes. He fought Pacquiao, But how long did he make us wait for that fight? He waited till Pacquiao was. He fought.
The mayor of Philippines.
He fought Sugar Shane Mosley, but when Sugar Shane Mosley was at the end, although Sugar Shane tagged him once, it was I think the second round of that fight. And the only time I can remember from that point forward where Floyd actually his knees buckled, like he almost went down. Shane caught him with a punch, and Floyd nearly went down. But again, he fought Sugar Shane like at Sugar Shane's tail end of his career. So point being, like Mayweather's always been a guy that's been very protective of his record and manages like when he fights guys. Like he's going to be strategic. To Johnny's question, like I don't think he's actually going to put the record in jeopardy because he can be very strategic about who he fights.
Yeah, he's going to fight somebody that's over the hill or
way too young.
Too young.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's the answer. Let's do one more thing, and then we'll get into our Mount Rushmore plus one. Pull this list up here, guys, in the Google Docs. So there was a report by the U.S. Department of Education of the 20 most dangerous college campuses in America. I was surprised by number one. Number one, do we have the Aggie War Hymn ready to play? They play at 7 o'clock tonight. Hopefully all the fans keep their heads on a swivel. But the number one most dangerous campus in America, the Texas A&M, appropriately, fighting Aggies.
I was shook by this.
Yeah, I was surprised. Now, admittedly, I'm not in College Station every day, but when I do go, like, I've never felt like it was dangerous.
No, I mean, all the times I went, like when I used to cover A&M football here, I would walk around at the end of the games and totally fine. My sister went there for 4 years, never had any incidents. So, but it's interesting because it's coming from the Department of Education, so I want to know exactly what factors.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's just like arrest on campus or maybe like something, like violent, like maybe assaults plus DUIs or something.
I mean, if it's alcohol related crimes, then I can definitely see it. But as far as like actual like violent crimes, like we said earlier, like off air, like the fact that U of H being in Third Ward is 15 spots below A&M.
Yeah, UH
kind of
for the record is number 16 on this list. Those are the only double checking. Those are the only two Texas schools on this list.
To be honest, the schools at the top of this list, I never would have thought. Yeah, Utah,
Cal Berkeley,
Grand Canyon, like
who's violent in San Diego?
Exactly.
Just go to the beach, brah. Like
Iowa.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
I need to dig into this.
Yeah, I was definitely surprised. There's a lot of UC. There's UC San Diego, UC Davis, UC Irvine, USC. California's got some crime apparently, according to this list.
Well, yeah.
I was surprised though to see. I'm not even an A&M fan. I was surprised to see A&M on this list, but I mean, we do have to remember that they had over 3 times the amount of fan ejections plus arrests than points scored in that game against Miami.
Great.
So maybe the answer was there for us all along. Sorry to take that shot there at the end.
But those were all alcohol related. So.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe the U.S. Department of Education knows what they're talking about here. Maybe they know ball. All right, we got to get out because on the other side of the break, it is time for Mount Rushmore plus one. Don't go anywhere. Ooh, welcome in, Houston, to the best part of your weekend. Welcome into Mount Rushmore Plus One, the award-winning, game-changing segment that's forever changed the landscape of sports radio. And we'll get Cam, John, myself, Sean Mapes, Andrew Carlson, R.J. Saunders, Josh Javans, A.J. Russ, and a host of Joe George and a host of others into the Texas Radio Hall of Fame. And far less, had to say this part quieter because he's down the hall, 27 years it took those bums, John and Lance, to get into the Texas Radio Hall of Fame.
For shame.
Yeah.
On
I mean,
them.
there's I mean, he's literally right down the hall. Do you think he can hear me right now, Slade?
No.
Calling him a bum?
I
I say bum with all due respect.
He knows it's not me.
It's term of endearment. I don't know. I can't tell you why it's a term of endearment, but just trust me.
And I
man,
might have to
it's
see him later tonight. So.
Yeah. So keep your head on a swivel. You thought the A&M campus was dangerous. I mean, Lance might be pissed off and take a swing.
That's a little more scary.
Yeah, you give up a size advantage there, Cam. You're gonna have to.
He's a little taller than me.
All right. Anyone want to go first? Who's going first here?
Sure.
We're all looking at each other. Cam's going first. There's our volunteer. Cam, lead us off here. What do you got?
Mine is in honor of the cook-off coming up.
Oh, nice.
Which I'm excited to attend.
Okay.
again
You go
this
every year?
I do go every year. However, this year,
one particular, see, I don't really know how. I know there's like private parties that go on. Is it all? I don't really know how this works. I don't go very often. Is it all private parties, or is there like a public aspect?
No.
to this?
So for the cook-off, you can still go to like their carnival and like the livestock and stuff.
Right.
But to get into like a lot of these tents, you have to pay for like an actual like wristband.
Okay.
So a lot of the
So
tents
you can just pay money and get in. You don't like they're not all just like private parties.
It's not invite only.
Yeah, some of them are like invite only, and then some of them are
just pay
if you
whatever
know
and get
somebody,
in.
you can pay them and you
Okay.
can get in. So, but first time going on a Thursday. Usually I go on a Saturday, but I can't deal with that nonsense again this year. So I'm gonna go.
You getting too old for that bleep?
No, it's just because I went last year. It's just it gets more crowded, more things happen, and then by the third day of the cook-off, there's a lot less like premium alcohol and like food.
So you're saying it becomes the A&M campus? Is what you're saying?
Could be. So I'm gonna go on Thursday, where it's the U of H campus at 16. So mine is rodeo food that I would leave my tent for and pay for.
Oh, okay.
So, and some of these are new.
Now these are all things you've had, or like things
No.
you've seen on like a website that they're advertising.
2 of these I've had, and 3 of these are apparently like new food options
Okay.
this year.
All
So,
right.
the original, the one that I've always loved, turkey leg. I will make sure that I always buy at least 1 or 2 turkey legs every time I hit the cook-off.
Stuffed or not stuffed?
Not stuffed.
Wrapped in bacon or not wrapped in bacon?
I actually haven't seen one of those.
I don't know
but
if you're going full Ron Swanson.
my man.
Yeah.
If they have one,
it was
might as well.
Yeah, there was I think it was when they did the Harvest Festival. He had a bacon wrapped turkey leg.
He also went to some award show just
The
to
bacon wrapped shrimp. He said
the
it was my
bacon-wrapped
favorite
shrimp.
food.
Wrapped
Wrapped around my
wrapped
other
in my
favorite
second
food.
favorite
yeah. I've had this before. Churro Bowl Sunday.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, you can continue, but stop the list.
Yeah.
I'm sold. Yeah.
It's
so the bowl is churro? They take like churro dough and turn it into a bowl?
From what I remember, it was more like vanilla ice cream, but then it had a bunch of like chopped up like churro pieces.
I'm still
like,
in.
Yeah.
I'm still in.
Yeah.
Churros are a perfect dessert.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So these next 3 are new. I've never had them. The first one is a brisket cheese and brew stuffed pretzel.
Hell yeah.
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 I looked at the picture online too, and I was like, "Oh,
shut up and
hell
take
yeah,
my money."
I'm in there.
Yeah.
Take my $20. Chicken fried lobster. It sounds so weird, but I think
I'm assuming that costs $5 million, but I'd still like to try it.
I would. Yeah, I gotta try it. Hopefully, I can find somebody to share it with, but I don't know. Then the last one, brisket cheese curd tacos.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
that's a winner.
I would mess that up.
There's a list. I think it's on like
I would
Cron or
destroy
something
that.
of all the new like food options, and some of them are. I mean, if I had all the money in the world, I would hit every single one.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. All right, Johnny, your Mount Rushmore plus so and sir. What is it?
Alrighty. So this last week, I was doom scrolling on Twitter like KD does, and I came across.
No, he's not here for the Twitter nonsense.
Oh
Johnny.
well, apparently he is, regardless of what he wants to tell us. And I seen a post that I thought was interesting. Is a big picture of Jameis Winston smiling, and it said, "If aliens were to come to Earth, who would you choose to represent?"
I think I retweeted that same tweet.
It may have been. I seen it for you.
Yeah.
And I remember we did the Jameis Winston for president thing before, and that kind of kicked off in my head. So this is my Mount Rushmore plus one of the people that I would choose as my representative to meet the aliens if they showed up.
Just tell us the final three, because obviously Cam and I are 1 and 2. So just tell us the final three.
You and Cam are like 100 plus on the list if I kept going, okay?
I would have at least had you in my top 10.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I'd have you 11.
There's a lot of people on this
I
earth.
plead the fifth.
Number 5, I went with somebody that's fun. This TV show is hilarious, going all over the place, meeting new people already. So just a step up to aliens. Marshawn Lynch.
Oh, yeah.
I think would be a great representative.
That's a great nomination.
Number 4, I went with more of a mainstream actor, but he has experience with aliens. Will Smith would be my number 4.
Is there some tension there? If Will Smith meets the aliens, they might say,
Maybe.
"Welcome to Earth," and punch him.
Hey, maybe they may have seen his or know his track record with
I'm
the
just
aliens.
saying that in the documentary Independence Day, like he punches an alien and tells him, "Welcome to Earth."
Yeah, he did.
So there might be some tension there. Is all I'm saying.
Might be. Number 3, this gentleman works with animals on a regular basis and has a famous father you might remember. Robert Irwin.
Oh.
What's a step up from working with animals to, the aliens? So I'm sending him out as a representative.
That's a well-thought option.
This is a wild list so far. We went from Marshawn Lynch to now I'm already forgetting who was
Will Smith and Robert
so we went
Irwin.
from football player to actor to animal wrangler. This is a journey. I'm appreciating it, Johnny. Go ahead.
Number 2, I was trying to think of who I'd want here, and I thought I want a big, like a huge person. I just want somebody with presence. So I chose Shaq, not The Rock, but you could have very well been The Rock.
Okay, I like that.
And number 1,
so you're hoping that Shaq intimidates the aliens?
Not
into being
necessarily.
like into being peaceful.
He's a joyful big, so
That's true.
Not necessarily intimidation, but anybody who meets Shaq is not mad they met Shaq.
You hand him some Papa Johns and help him and hook him up with the general insurance,
or his big cluck chicken place, whatever it's called.
Careful with that pronunciation there.
Oh yeah, I know.
Number 1, I want.
El was doing some heavy lifting.
Number 1, I want these aliens to know about the great sport of football. So my number 1 representative is John Gruden. I'm sending him out there to teach the aliens the X's and O's.
Wait, real John Gruden or his famous impersonator?
I'll send the real one,
Okay.
but either one. I mean, if we can't, if we can't book the real one,
we should send Frank Caliendo. He can play the entire American
Oh, that's
population.
true.
Even the dead ones. He can introduce them to John Madden. Man, we should send Caliendo. That's the only admission. Otherwise, a flawless list, Johnny. That was very well done. All right, so for my Mount Rushmore plus one, I'm going to follow up. I promised the part 2 on this one. There might be a part 3, part 4, part 5. There's endless nominations for this Mount Rushmore plus one. But a few weeks ago, I did a Don't Google Me list. After it was in celebration of Kurt Signetti winning the national championship, because he famously said, when asked about his resume, Google me, I win. These athletes and people do not want you to Google them. The people on the last list, part 1, were Brett Favre. No explanation needed there for multiple reasons. Joe Cullen, he was the Lions assistant coach who got drunk and fell asleep in a Wendy's drive-thru. Eugene Robinson, we remember what happened with him right before the Super Bowl. Najee Davenport, who pooped in a sorority girl's laundry basket.
Oh.
And, of course, Jalen Green, who has interesting videos with teammates, let's just say. Hashtag Josh Christopher. All right, so part 2 of my Don't Google Me list. Number 1, Plaxico Burress. Plaxico, I don't think Plaxico wants you to Google him. Like, we don't even really have to Google him. We just know.
We just know. I mean, you know exactly what would happen.
I don't think Plaxico really wants you to Google him. Next on that list, Dante Culpepper, or anyone that was on the Vikings sex boat. I don't know if you remember that.
Totally forgot about that.
I think there's an ESPN documentary on it, like a 30 for 30 short or something, but that story was wild. The Vikings, actually it was multiple boats. Same boat is misleading. There are multiple boats in that, but I don't think Dante Culpepper wants you looking up a Viking sex boat. Next one on the list. Yes, correct. Tiki Barber. Remember what Tiki Barber did when his wife was, I think she had cancer, and he started hooking up with one of his producers on the Today Show.
God.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, Tiki. I didn't know that. Oh.
Yeah. It's not.
That's a rough.
It's
That's
not
a rough
great.
thing, man.
It's not, that's okay. I listed them in no particular order, but that's number one. And we should put his jersey up in the Hall of Fame for worst person in sports this week. All right, so what I got? Two more. Tyreek Hill does not want you to Google him.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got. I mean, breaking his kid's arm, attacking marina workers, hitting women. He's got a laundry list of things that he doesn't want you to Google. And last but not least, the most recent. So I put him here last because maybe some recency bias. I don't think Puka Nakua wants you to Google him. Like whether it's his brother getting jacking cars or him making anti-Semitic gestures on YouTube streams, I don't think Puka Nakua really wants you Googling him right now.
Unless you're typing in highlights behind it.
Yeah,
then
or
might,
dating WWE superstar, which is a thing for him.
I thought I was gonna have Antonio Brown on the list somewhere.
No, I think it just goes unsaid.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the top of the all-time list. Like I said, we'll go through probably 5 parts of these, but he's at the very top of the all-time list. But yeah, those are my
By the way,
don't Google me athletes for part 2.
Tiki Barber's wife was pregnant with twins when this happened.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember if it was pregnant or cancer. I must have mixed it with
I hope it's not both.
I don't think it was both. No, I think I mixed that with some other scumbag. But yeah, pregnant with twins, and he was sleeping with his producer. I think was it the Today Show? Do you have the story up?
Former NBC intern.
Oof, intern. That doesn't make it any better. All right, we got to get out. That'll do it for Mount Rushmore +1 this week. We'll have another one next week when we're back. We got to maybe we'll have about 6-7 minutes left on the show. 6-7 minutes left on the show. I did that just for Cam. And we'll finish the way we always do with our worst person in sports this week, as Cam hates me.
You
is nominating me for worst person, and also talk about what we love from sports this week, which was my 6-7 gesture. That next when the bullpen returns.
This is the Bullpen.
On ESPN 97.5 and the ESPN Houston app.
Live from the Huntington Bank Studios, here are the producers of ESPN 97.5.
Welcome back into the Bullpen. One final segment to go. Brian McDonald, Cam Smith, John Belmer with you here for a few more moments. We'll be back next week. Aggies basketball can be heard on these airwaves coming up at 7 o'clock, so make sure you give that a listen. And we'll finish up like we always do with our worst people in sports this week and what we loved from sports this week. So my worst person in sports this week, I think it's someone who could be added to our wall of shame, our the jerseys that we hang up here in the studio. You can't see them; they're just off frame. Don't worry about it. Trust me, it's definitely real. But he is someone I think could be on this list a lot because he constantly gives these not only just like bad takes, but like weird takes or misinformed takes. And this one might take the cake. That is Jason McIntyre, who started the Big Lead back in the day and is now not, I wouldn't call him a co-host with Colin Cowherd, but he's on the show with Colin Cowherd. Anyway, he was talking about Mike Evans and his possible free agency or being traded this offseason, and threw in this little gem that was way off target.
That he's going to be motivated to chase a Super Bowl. Hasn't sniffed one in Tampa. Yeah. Finals.
So Jason McIntyre saying Mike Evans, quote, never sniffed a Super Bowl in Tampa. Bro, he won one in 2020.
You do dumbass things, pretty soon you're going to be labeled a dumbass.
Well, Johnny, what is that drop even from? I haven't heard you play that one before.
I don't know. It was in the system a long time ago, and I just kind of carried it over.
I have never heard that drop before. Well done. But how do you have a show? Well, it's not his show. But how are you on a show on FS1 and talking about Mike Evans and not realize he won a Super Bowl just not that long ago? Like it was 2020, wasn't it? The 2020 season?
I believe.
I think that sounds right.
So yeah, because Baker's been there for I think 3 years now.
Yeah. So quote, he's never sniffed a Super Bowl. He won one this decade.
I just don't know what the context is for this because even if he hadn't sniffed a Super Bowl, he's still a Hall of Fame wide receiver. I think he's the only.
I think the context is he was going to go try to chase a ring on a contender instead of just taking a payday with whoever would pay him the most. That's the context. He might go to the Chiefs like DeAndre Hopkins did or something like that. But yeah, in his talk of that scenario, in his motivation said he never sniffed a Super Bowl when Mike Evans most definitely sniffed a Super Bowl because he won a Super Bowl when Tom Brady was his quarterback and then got super drunk in that celebration they did on the boats there in Tampa.
Galveston Ball High School, shout out, boom.
And threw the trophy.
Oh, yeah, they tossed it from boat to boat. That was quite fun. All right, Cam, who's your worst person in sports this week?
Mine is not just one person, it's a whole organization. The moment I heard that there was talks of expanding March Madness teams.
Yeah, that was something that was in the rundown, but we didn't get a chance to get to it.
Oh.
So I guessing you're fully out on that?
I hate that idea.
Yeah, I do too.
It's already flooded, and I don't need to see like Mariola Loyola at 15 and 22 getting
sounded
into
like that Australian reporter. That little slur there. Mariola Loyola iguanas.
I just went and took a shot of energy drink.
Did you? Okay.
No, I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Honestly, I didn't think they needed to expand from 64 to 68 when that happened a decade or whatever ago. And now the talk I believe is 76. I've even heard people talk of 128. Like, ugh.
I mean, I get in the day that we live where you can now pay athletes and you can kind of level the playing field, sure. But we still haven't seen that in college basketball enough. Like, it's still like the same.
We have seen playing teams make a Final Four but not win.
Yeah.
Not win a title. Yeah,
And it's still rare.
Yeah, it's still rare. It's like, I think, two teams, like VCU and...
Like Wichita State or something?
No, that wasn't Wichita State. Might have been Syracuse. But yeah, I have no interest in expanding the field. All right. Let's stop swimming with the Anger Sharks in our last 2 minutes. Talk about what we loved in sports this week while we go ahead and doggy paddle over to the Sea of Tranquility. I saved this one for this show in particular because I know Cam likes 6'7". And there's a baseball team, the Pensacola Blue Wahoos, a minor league baseball team, that is having a brain rot night on June 7th, 2026. Cam, what date is June 7th? No, come on, Cam. Just what's the date
of June 7th?
Yeah, June 7th. John, help him out with the joke.
6-7.
There we go. I wasn't sure if Cam was avoiding it or if he was like, "Oh, it's a Wednesday, sir." I couldn't tell which way he was going.
I was about to go look for June 7th. I hate you for trying to include me in that bit.
Yeah. So the Pensacola Wahoos are hosting this night on 6-7. The promotion Brain Rot Night comes with the description of the event. This is directly from their Twitter account. 6-7. Leave your brain at the door and pay your phantom tax. It's Brain Rot Night at Blue Wahoo Stadium. We'll be celebrating all things that you see scrolling your phone while you should be reading a book, talking to your family, or touching grass. Skibbity on down to the ballpark, riz up your moots like your baby Gronk, and get ready for a night of baseball maxing.
They're trying way too hard.
Yeah, they're trying
I'm sorry.
I didn't understand.
I was kind of okay with some of it, but a lot of that stuff is just all internet bullcrap.
I understood.
Yeah.
I understood Riz. I've heard Skibbity.
I hate them now,
but I didn't understand all of
for the fact that they mentioned Baby Gronk in here.
Oh, I know. I know it.
I work with children, so
I know. All right, we got to wrap up. Cam, very quickly, what'd you love from sports?
Oh, I absolutely love the Teddy Bridgewater bill.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Vindication for Teddy Bridgewater.
Seriously.
All right, that'll do it for the bullpen. For Cam Smith, for John Belmer, I've been Brian McDonald. Still Brian McDonald. That was weird phrasing.
Yes.
We'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great weekend, Houston. Suck it, Canada.